Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today we are going to focus on William Shakespeare's work. We'll cover that who was he, why is he so famous, his works, that is tragedy, comedy, history and poetry, and the language that he used, the words invented by him, some elements of the drama present in his plays, and we are going to discuss some of the 16th century theatre. Basically, the objective of today's lecture is that you will be able to analyze and remember his work. Now, first of all, who was he? Basically, he is widely recognized as the greatest writer in English literature and especially the dramatist. But he was also a poet as well. He has written 37 plays, which includes comedies, histories, and tragedies. And he composed about 154 sonnets and some of the poems. That's why he is so famous. And he started his career as an actor initially. His work was first of all published as first quarto in 1603. The second quarto was published in 1604, and proper folio, overall whole folio, was published in 1623. Let's look at some of the comedies. Yesterday, I've discussed that his comedies are named after some of the events that happened in the comedy, right? So over here you can see that all these names are based on something that happened in that play. A Midsummer Night Dream, All Well That Ends Well, As You Like It, Cymbeline, Loves That Labor's Lost, Measure for Measure, Much Ado About Nothing, Pericles, Prince of Tyre, The Comedy of Errors, The Merchant of Venus, The Merry Wives of Windsor, The Taming of the Shrew, The Tempest, Troilus and Cressida, Twelfth Night, Two Gentlemen of Verona, and Winter's Tale. So these are the comedies that are written by William Shakespeare. There are some famous tragedies as well, which are written by him. That is Antony and Cleopatra, Coriolanus, Hamlet, Julius Caesar, King Lear, Macbeth, Othello, Romeo and Juliet, Tamens of Ethan, and Titus Andronicus. Now, as already mentioned yesterday, that some history plays are also written by him, and these history plays are, I mean, they are named after the king of ruling at that time. Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, Henry V, Henry VI Part 1, Henry VI Part 2, Henry VI Part 3, Henry VIII, King John, Richard II, and Richard III. Okay. Some of the poetries are also written by him. That is Lover's Complaint. There are around 154 sonnets that are written by William Shakespeare. The Passionate Pilgrim, The Phoenix and the Turtle, The Rape of Lucrece, Venus and Adonis. So these are some of the poetry written by him. And the thing that why is he still so famous? This is a very important and good question that comes to our mind when we think about Shakespeare. So his plays portray recognizable people in situations we experience in our life, like for example, love, marriage, death, mourning, guilt, the need to make difficult choices, separations, reunion, reconciliation. It means Shakespeare has focused each and every situation of our life in his plays. They do so with great humanity, tolerance, and wisdom. So his characters are so well characterized and so well established that they represent the actual humanity and tolerance and wisdom that are there in normal human beings. They are constantly fresh and can be adapted to the place and time they are performed. So characters have such an ability that they can be performed anywhere at any time by anyone, and they will be as fresh as they were at that time. The language is also very wonderfully expressed and very powerful. That's why they help us to understand what it is to be human and to cope with the problem of being so. If we talk about the language that is written by Shakespeare, then he used over 20,000 words in his work. The average writer uses 7,500. The English dictionary of his time only had 500 words. So that's why he has introduced so many words. He's credited with creating 3,000 words in English Oxford Dictionary. So this is how he contributed to the English language as well. This is another reason why he's so famous. He was by far the most important individual influence on the development of the modern English. He invented lots of words that can be used in our daily life, and there are some of them which are still used. So this is the list of the words that are invented by him. Okay, you can see that there are many words. In fact, almost all of them are used, still used in our daily life. Then
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
talk about the elements of drama. There are basically five grammatical structure corresponding to plays, five acts. Every drama, especially the tragedies, there are five acts in Shakespearean plays, and every act corresponds to a specific thing. Like first act is basically the introduction, or you can say the exposition, which establishes tone, setting, main characters, main conflicts, and fill in events previous to play. Okay, so it's basically acts as a setting, the whole scenario. Okay, then there is rising action, the series of complications for the protagonist means the main character. Okay, then flowing from main conflict and then moving towards the crisis or the climax. Basically, crisis or climax is the turning point of the story, or you can say the moment of choice for protagonist कि क्या decide करें, what should be the decision. That is the crucial time, and forces of conflicts come together. There might be some other forces as well who try to focus on changing or on the decision of the protagonist. Then there is falling action. Falling action means that now is the time the decision is taken and results will start coming out. Result of protagonist decision maintains suspense. So this is how the drama continues. Then finally, there is resolution or denouement. That is the conclusion of the play. Unrevealing of plot may include characters' death, because most of the tragedies of Shakespeare there is death at the end, and that death is just because of the wrong decisions of the character, that is the protagonist. Now let's talk about the typical 16th century theater. That is the building. The building was usually of three stories, level one and two, and then the third one. Backstage, dressing and storage area was level three. Upper stage could represent balcony, walls of castle, bridge of a ship. So it means the upper stage was in some form. Sometimes it was in the form of a ship, or sometimes it seems to be just like a balcony or a castle, and that was for upper class, for kings and for a higher, you can say, upper class. Whereas the courtyard, or you can say the level one, was for the normal audience. And the well-known theater, as I think mentioned yesterday as well, that the very well-known theater name is the Globe Theater, where Shakespeare plays were performed. Now, in when we talk about the acting company, that is the Shakespeare's company, it was composed of only boys and men. There was no woman. Okay, though there are women characters in Shakespearean plays, but that was performed by the young boys, whose voice seems to be little feminine. Okay, so they used to perform the female role. If we talk about the audience, then there were 2,000 to 3,000 people from all walks of life. Well-to-do spectators sat in covered galleries around the stage. Most stood in yard around platform stage, or that is known as the grounding. Okay, so that was all for this lecture.